Welcome aboard Royal Caribbean's Liberty of the Sea, Royal Caribbean's Freedom Class cruise liner out of Galveston. We're embarking on a 7-day Caribbean cruise down to Cozumel, Jamaica, and Cayman Islands. We'd like to thank Northcutt Travel Agency for making this trip possible. If you'd like help booking your next vacation, go visit northcuttravelagency.com. They have specialists there ready to help you with all of your vacation planning needs. I'll leave a link in the comment section below and contact information. As usual, we have boarded the ship a little early, so our room isn't ready yet. So what better way to kill the time than sitting down for a few adult beverages? One of the things that we like about Royal Caribbean versus other cruise lines that we've traveled with is that if you do purchase the drink pass, which means all of your drinks are included, you can take advantage of this from the day you board. Other cruise lines do not allow this until the first sea day. This is one of our favorite little hangouts, the Hoof and Claw Pub. It's a British style pub with live music most nights and a great place to relax and enjoy some excellent adult beverages. Once our room was made available, we went down there, unpacked, got settled in, and decided to tour the rest of the ship while we waited to depart.
Time to start it, and I know you got it. You with me, let's rock this party. All the girls on the side say, and all my fellas on the side say, tonight we're gonna fly high to the skies, 'cause we're gonna have a taste of the good life. Here we go, here we go, here we go up. We're gonna rock this club till it blows up. Yeah, we're gonna live a good life. Yeah, we're gonna do it all night. Good life, alright. Let's go and live the good life tonight.
Well, here we are at our first port of call, Cozumel, Mexico. Cozumel has a very nice pier with lots of shopping. Believe me, there's a lot of people willing to sell you anything, and haggling does help in cases. One of the things that we found is whenever you're planning on buying souvenirs at any port, it's best to do so on the way back to the ship. Once the shops are about to close because the ship is leaving, they tend to be a little bit more willing to negotiate. The port of Cozumel has a lot of excursions to offer through Royal Caribbean. We decided to book one X-Rail Exploration to Jade Caverns. We had a lot of fun, and the tour guides were very friendly, and it was a neat experience. After a brief safety presentation and orientation, we saddled up in our 4-seater UTV to head out for the caves. The trip took about 45 minutes to get there. You spend about 45 minutes at the caves, and then a return trip back. Once we arrived at the caves, it was a beautiful sight to see. You're basically in the middle of the jungle, You even had the option to jump in and swim inside the cavern. While we were down inside the cavern, one of the neatest things to look at was the thousands of bats nesting overhead. It was really unique seeing how many of them gathered in one place. After a brief swim, it was time to head back. I made a detailed video of the entire excursion if you'd be interested in booking it yourself. I'll leave a link for it in the show notes below. Once we were back to Wild Tours' base of operations, we were given transportation back to the pier. Once we arrived at the pier, one of the unique things that we noticed is there's spots for you to jump into the water and swim right at the dock in Cozumel. This is unusual. We had never seen this in a pier in Cozumel before on any of the other cruises we had been on. It was fun to jump in the water and swim. Lots of fish. Plenty to see. We dried off, it was time to head back to the ship. It always amazes me of how crystal clear the waters are. It seems as though you can see straight to the bottom, even when you're sitting above 20 feet of water. Now that we were back aboard, it was time to say goodbye to Cozumel and head to our next destination, the Cayman Islands. You always hear stories and rumors about people that get left at the dock. And while it has happened in the past, it doesn't happen as often as you might think. But there really has to be no better picture than standing on the edge of the dock watching your ship sail away. I prefer to do it from the comfort of our balcony.
Morning guys, come on guys, how you doing? Morning. Sea passes out, folks.
Sorry, babe.
Morning.
up front.
How many guests you sending down, babe?
Right here, to the right, to the right, to the right. Well, here we are in Cayman Islands. One of the unique things about stopping in Cayman is the ship does not have a pier to pull up to or dock. The waters around the island are just too shallow. So they have boats that come out to the ship to pick everybody up and bring them ashore. It's only about a 5 to 10 minute boat ride to get from the ship to the shore port, where everybody will meet up with their tour guides or whatever excursion group they've signed up for. One of the things that we love about Cayman is how safe it is, or seems to be, walking around and shopping or sightseeing or doing whatever it is we want to do. We really enjoy this stop, and we look forward to the next time we visit. If you decide not to sign up for a tour group or an excursion, there are plenty of cabs in town to take you wherever you want to go, or the option of public transportation. We learned on this last trip that if you wanted to take public transportation or a bus, it was only about $1.50 US to board the bus and take you wherever you want to go, one way. On this stop, we decided to book an excursion to the Cayman Islands Turtle and Wildlife Center, or Turtle Farm, as the locals call it. The Turtle Farm was established in 1968 by a group of investors from the United States and Great Britain as a facility to raise the green sea turtle for commercial purposes. The intent was to supply the market with a source of product that did not deplete the wild population further. By releasing turtles and facilitating research, any harm created by removing turtles and eggs from the wild would be mitigated. This is known as the Genesis Pond. Adult turtles breed, mate, and the females can go ashore and lay their eggs. These eggs are then collected by handlers and put into incubators where they are hatched separately. Once the eggs have hatched, the hatchlings are raised till juvenile state. Once they have reached maturity or juvenile state, they are then released back into the wild. After much work was put into pioneering the requirements of domesticating these wild animals, regulations designed to protect the sea turtle prevented the sale of even 1 pound of turtle meat to the United States and many other countries. With close to 100,000 turtles to feed and care for and unable to sell the product to continued cash flow, the company was forced to file for bankruptcy. In 1975, a German company purchased the property and renamed it Cayman Turtle Center. The new owners intended to operate the center more as a non-profit organization, funneling any profits from the sale of product back into the sea turtle conservation and protection projects, using the site as an international sea turtle research facility. However, export restrictions continued, and sufficient revenue could not be generated to maintain the approximately 100,000 turtles on hand. After 8 years, the new company gave up. The number of turtles was reduced and operating costs brought to a minimum with the intention of closing the site. The Cayman Island government then purchased the mini center in 1983 and has since operated as a private company, Cayman Turtle Center. The goal of this new company is to produce enough turtles to supply the needs of the local market and continue releasing turtles. The center has also become the largest land-based tourist attraction on the island. Since the Cayman government has taken over the facility, many new attractions have been since added. a large rehabilitation aviary for birds and wildlife, a butterfly house, and even the Turtle Lagoon, a large man-made lagoon where guests can interact with Caribbean sea wildlife and, of course, swim with sea turtles. All in all, the park is beautifully maintained and very well kept. The guests are very knowledgeable. We enjoyed seeing all the animals wandering around and getting the opportunity to feed just about anything that they had in the park. We will definitely be going back here on our next trip, just because we didn't get a chance to see everything that it had to offer. Well, we're coming to the last stop on our tour, the town of Hell. There are numerous versions of how Hell received its name, but there are generally variations on this is what Hell must look like. It is also claimed that the name Hell is derived from the fact that if a paddle is thrown out into the formation, it echoes among the black limestone peaks and valleys and sounds as if the paddle is falling all the way down to hell. Regardless of how it first came to be called Hell, the name stuck and the area has become a tourist attraction, featuring a fire engine red Hell themed post office from which you can send postcards from Hell, and a gift shop with Satan, passing out souvenirs while greeting people with phrases like, "How the hell are you?" and "Where the hell are you from?" Well, as our tour comes to an end, it was time to head back to the port in Georgetown. We still had time to do some last-minute shopping before we had to catch the tender boat and head back to the ship for our next stop in Falmouth, Jamaica. Here we are in Falmouth, Jamaica. Falmouth is the capital city of Jamaica's Trelawney Parish. It's a busy cruise port that lies between Ocho Rios and Montego Bay on the north side of the island. In 2011, nearly $180 million was spent to rebuild the cruise port in Falmouth to accommodate Royal Caribbean's largest cruise ship, Oasis of the Sea. Before we decided to go ashore, we noticed that the ship's crew was taking part in an evacuation drill. These drills are conducted periodically on different voyages, so crew members can get recertified on the emergency procedures of cruising at sea. We don't get to see them that often, so it was interesting to watch. I do have to say, I thought they would get the boats in the water a little bit faster. Makes sense. Wow, a bunch of them.
Starting at 9:30? We're at 11 o'clock, so an hour and a half to get the boats in the water. There it goes.
getting him in the water doesn't take hardly any time.
Alright, are you ready?
After we had seen enough of the evacuation drill, it was time to go ashore and explore the port. We opted not to do any tour groups or take any excursions on this stop. Instead, we just went ashore to do some shopping and grab a bite to eat. Falmouth is one of our favorite ports to stop in Jamaica. We decided to grab a bite to eat at the Crispy Chicken for some traditional Jamaican jerk chicken. The Crispy Chicken is located inside the cruise port in Falmouth, and the wait staff was incredibly friendly and the drinks were very good. The prices weren't too bad either. After a quick bite to eat, we decided to walk around for some last minute shopping before we headed back to the ship to set sail for home. I do have to say that some of the most beautiful sunsets I've ever seen have been from the balcony of a cruise ship. As our trip comes to an end on our last day at sea, we head home for Galveston. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps our channel.